Hi everyone, I'm Helen. I work as a software developer in San Francisco, but I'm originally from a small town in Pennsylvania. Before I dive into my story, please make sure to hit like and subscribe to stay updated with more content like this. Now, let's get into it. Staring at the glowing screen late into the night, the numbers just don't seem to add up. Each month, a hefty chunk of my paycheck winds its way across the country, back to my family. It's been this way since I landed my first big job out here in the tech world. You'd think they'd be proud, right? Grateful even? Well, not exactly. Helen, it's Mom. We need to talk about the house. The roof is leaking again, and the contractor says it's going to be a big job. I press the phone tighter against my ear, feeling that familiar clench in my stomach. Mom, we fixed the roof last year. How is it possible it's leaking again? There's a pause on the line. Well, he says it's a different section this time. It's always something, isn't it? You do want your family to have a safe home, don't you, Helen? Her voice has that edge, the one that says she's laying the guilt on thick. I've been sending $1,500 every month. Where is all that money going if not to things like this? You know we have a lot of expenses, Helen. Your father's medications, the groceries, the bills. It's not cheap maintaining a house, you know, and after all we've sacrificed for you. There it is, the debt speech. Mom, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but nothing, Helen. You owe us. We raised you, put you through school. Frustration boils over, and I'm suddenly aware of how late it is, how much of my personal time this is eating into. Mom, I need to get some sleep. I have work early tomorrow. We can talk about this later. The call ends, but the weight of it lingers. The next day at the office, I'm dragging. Coffee doesn't touch the exhaustion that seeps deep into my bones. As I blankly stare at my code, trying to debug an application, my colleague Emma notices. Helen, you okay? You look like you haven't slept. It's just family stuff. I don't know. I send so much money back home, and it's like it's never enough. They always need more. Emma leans in, lowering her voice. You know you can say no, right? You're allowed to set boundaries, even with family. Boundaries. The word tastes foreign in my mouth. I don't even know what that would look like. Maybe start by not jumping every time they say jump. You're supporting them, but you've got your own life, your own needs. Yeah, maybe you're right. It's a novel concept, setting boundaries with my family. I'll think about it. Thanks, Emma. Leaving work that day, I can't shake the feeling that something's got to give. I'm giving so much of myself away. There's barely anything left for, well, me. That night, I pull out all the bank statements, the receipts, the endless transactions recorded and itemized. I lay them out on my kitchen table, a mosaic of my financial fidelity to a family that just keeps asking for more. I start to tally up the numbers, marking what was for necessities and what might not be. The phone rings again. It's Mom. Helen, did you think about what we talked about? The roof isn't going to fix itself. Taking a deep breath, feeling the backbone of newly found resolve stiffening, I answer with a steadiness I don't quite feel. Mom, I can't keep doing this. I've looked at my finances and I'm stretched too thin as it is. I can help with the roof this time, but after that, we need to rethink this arrangement. There's a sharp intake of breath on the other end. What are you saying, Helen? That you're abandoning your family? No, Mom. I'm saying I need to take care of myself too. I'll send the money for the roof, but that's it for now. We need to manage expectations on both sides. The line goes dead. Silence, heavy and uncomfortable, settles around me. It feels like the first step in a marathon. Daunting, yes, but necessary. It's time to change the narrative of my life, to reclaim my own story. And that's where I'll leave you for now. If you're enjoying my journey and want to see how I handle setting boundaries and possibly changing my family dynamics, don't forget to subscribe and tune in for the next chapter. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time. Working on the final lines of code for a crucial software launch, my phone buzzes nonstop. It's Linda, my mom. Helen, when are you sending more money? The bills are piling up, and you haven't done enough. My hands hover over the keyboard, my focus shattered. Mom, I'm in the middle of a major project release. Can we discuss this later? No, we need to talk about this now. You owe us, Helen. The words sting, and something inside me snaps. This endless cycle of demands has to stop. "Mom, I'm doing my best, but I can't keep this up. I need to get back to work." The line goes dead, and the silence is somehow louder than her words. I sit back, drained, the glow of my monitors blurring before my eyes. Later that night, in the quiet of my apartment, I sit down with a notebook. I list all the payments I've made, the demands, the emotional toll. On the other side, I write down what I need for my sanity, my future. The cons list overwhelms the pros. It's clear what I need to do. The next day, I make an appointment with a financial advisor named Mark. In his office, filled with the calming scent of old books and coffee, I lay out my situation. "So, you want to cut financial ties?" Mark adjusts his glasses, his tone neutral. "Yes. I need to figure out a way to do this without ending up in a mess. First thing, you'll want to open a new bank account that only you control. It's about taking the first step towards financial independence." His advice sounds like the first breath of fresh air in a long time. And legally, I'd recommend talking to a lawyer about this. Make sure there are no loopholes that can come back to haunt you. Grateful, I nod, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also the possibility of liberation. I leave Mark's office and head straight to a nearby bank. Sitting down with the account manager, I explain that I need a new account, one that my family doesn't know about. This account will be just for my savings and personal expenses, completely separate from any family financial involvement. "Sounds like a wise decision," the manager replies as she types into her computer, setting up my new financial fortress. That night, as I sit in the dim light of my living room, I make another important call, this time to a lawyer named Miss Reynolds. I need to ensure that my decision to stop financial support doesn't lead to legal repercussions for my family. "We'll review all your previous financial engagements and set up clear boundaries moving forward. It's important to document everything, Helen." Miss Reynolds' voice is firm, reassuring. Document everything. Set boundaries. It becomes my new mantra. The decisions weigh heavy on me, but there's also a burgeoning sense of freedom. I'm taking control, making tough choices for my own well-being. It's not just about money. It's about respect, about my life. As I prepare for bed, the city lights flickering through my window, I feel the first genuine sense of peace in months. Tomorrow, there will be repercussions, harsh words, perhaps even estrangement. But tonight, there's just the quiet hum of the city and the knowledge that I'm finally choosing myself. As the anticipated monthly transfer fails to appear in the family account, the backlash begins almost immediately. My phone becomes a battlefield, buzzing with a relentless barrage of messages from Linda and other relatives. The tone ranges from pleading to outright angry, each message heavier than the last. "Helen, how could you do this to us? We are your family. After all we've done for you, this is how you repay us, by abandoning your own parents in their time of need." Ignoring the stinging accusations proves harder than I anticipated. Each message, each call, feels like a direct hit to my resolve. But I've made my decision, and I need to stick to it. It's Emma who brings the latest, and perhaps most painful blow. "Hey, I heard from back home. Your mom's been telling everyone that you've abandoned the family, that you're too caught up in your new life to care about anyone else." Hearing it from an outsider, the weight of the words hits even harder. That's not true. I just can't be their financial crutch anymore. It's too much." "I know, Helen, but you know how small towns are. Gossip spreads faster than wildfire." With the situation escalating, I find myself at my therapist's office, sinking into the familiar plush couch as I try to articulate the whirlpool of emotions swirling inside me. It feels like I'm being punished for wanting to take care of myself. It's not uncommon to feel guilt when setting boundaries, especially with family. But remember, taking care of your own needs is not selfish. It's necessary. My therapist's words are a balm, but the guilt doesn't wash away so easily. How do I deal with this? How do I not let it break me? Keep focusing on what you believe is right for you. Hold on to why you made this decision in the first place. It's about your health, your future. Buoyed slightly by her words, I leave the session feeling a bit more fortified. This is about more than money. It's about reclaiming my life and my sanity. The attacks, however, show no signs of slowing. Calls, texts, even emails flood in, each one a reminder of the decision I've made and the apparent consequences to my familial relationships. During a particularly low moment, staring at my silent phone, a new text from Emma pops up. "Dinner tonight? You need a break from all this. Grateful, I accept. That evening, over pizza and beer, the conversation flows from supportive to lightheartedly teasing. You know, if being responsible means making tough choices, then you're the most responsible person I know. Thanks. I guess being responsible feels pretty crappy right now, though. It might, but I'm proud of you. We all are. Her words, simple and sincere, are enough to lift the weight a little, enough to make me smile. Thanks. I really needed to hear that. As the days turn into weeks, the barrage from back home doesn't let up, but neither does my resolve. Each message, each call, I handle a little better, the sharp sting of guilt slowly becoming a dull ache. This isn't just about financial independence, it's about emotional independence too. And as I slowly, painfully reinforce these new boundaries, I start to see glimpses of a life where I'm not constantly weighed down by the demands and expectations of others. I'm learning, growing, and most importantly, I'm not going through it alone. My friends, my therapist, even new acquaintances who've heard my story, offer a network of support I hadn't realized I'd cultivated. Through it all, I hold firm. This path I've chosen isn't just about escaping the financial demands. It's about setting a new course for my life, one where I am no longer defined by what I can provide, but by who I choose to be. And that's a journey worth every difficult step. Armed with the ugly truth about where my money had really been going, I embark on a meticulous mission. It's not just about stopping the flow of funds anymore. It's about exposing the manipulation that had dictated my financial life for so long. So, you found out she's been misusing the money? My lawyer, Miss Reynolds, asks as we sit in her office surrounded by stacks of documents and bank statements. Yes, and it's not just small purchases. We're talking about luxury items, trips, things that were definitely not emergencies or necessities. We'll need solid proof if you're planning to confront her publicly. Do you have the bank statements and receipts? Everything's here. I've got bank statements, receipts, even credit card bills. It's all been tracked. Good. Now about this family meeting you want to set up. I thought I'd frame it as me reconsidering their financial support. See who says what when they think the bank is open again. Smart. That'll give you a natural way to bring up the expenditures. Have you thought about how you'll handle the confrontation? I'm still working that out. I want to be firm but factual. I need to show them not just that I know about the spending, but that I'm not going to be manipulated anymore. I'll draft something for you to say, a script to help keep you on track and legally safe. As the meeting day approaches, I reach out to my brother, Tom, and my dad, both of whom had been in the dark about Linda's financial antics. Helen, I had no idea Mom was pulling this kind of stuff with your money. Tom sounds genuinely shocked over the phone. I know, Tom. It's why I want to clear the air with everyone. Can I count on you to back me up at this meeting? Absolutely. You've done more than enough. It's time for this to come out. The family meeting is set in the old familiar living room, the scene of many happier family gatherings. As relatives filter in, murmuring about what the big news could be, I take a deep breath, my notes from Miss Reynolds ready in my hands. As everyone settles, Linda takes the opportunity to preemptively strike. I just want to say how grateful we are that Helen has reconsidered her decision. We really need her support. Actually, that's not quite what this is about. I start, my voice steady despite the pounding in my chest. I've called this meeting to address where my money has been going. Murmurs ripple through the room. I continue. I've discovered extensive misuse of the funds I've been sending. This isn't about a few emergencies. It's about consistent, deliberate spending on non-essentials. Helen, I don't know what you're talking about. Linda's voice is all feigned bewilderment. The room is silent as I lay out the evidence one piece at a time on the large oak table where we used to share family meals. The receipts and bank statements spread out like a deck of cards, each one telling a part of the story that had brought us all here today. These are not just numbers. These are truths that you need to see. I start, my voice calm but firm as I point to each receipt. These luxury items, the trips, the electronics, it's all here, paid for with the money that was meant to support the family. Linda stands at the opposite end, her eyes darting from one family member to another, seeking an ally where there are none. I was just trying to... To what, Mom? Comfort yourself with luxuries while claiming poverty to me? While guilting me into sending more and more money? The room feels colder, the tension palpable. I deserved that much. I raised you, didn't I? Her defense is weak, desperate. Raising me does not entitle you to deceive me or manipulate me. I continue, the room hanging on every word. This ends today. I am no longer your debtor, and I refuse to be treated as such. A murmur of agreement rises from some of my younger cousins. They had sensed the unfairness, even if they hadn't known the details. You showed us all something important today, one of them says, a young woman in her early 20s. You showed us that it's okay to stand up for ourselves, even if it's against our own family. The meeting ends not with reconciliation, but with a clear declaration of my independence. As people start to leave, Linda tries once more. Helen, I'm sorry. Can we start over? I can change. No, Mom. There are some things that can't be undone. I wish you well, but from here on, I walk this path on my own terms. I say, turning away, the finality in my voice more liberating than I had imagined it would be. Back in San Francisco, the city seems different, lighter somehow, as if it too had been holding its breath waiting for my decision. Thanksgiving is around the corner, and I'm hosting a small dinner at my apartment. Emma and a few close friends, who have become my chosen family, help me set up the table. Looks like you're officially free, Helen. How does it feel? Emma asks, handing me a dish to place on the table. Like I can finally breathe, like I'm finally living for myself, I reply, placing the dish down and looking around at the faces gathered in my small living room. We're all really proud of you, you know. Standing up to your family, that took guts. Emma smiles as she adjusts a place setting. Thanks, Em. I couldn't have done it without your support. All of you. I look at each of my friends, gratitude swelling in my heart. The evening is filled with laughter, stories, and an abundance of food. It's simple, it's heartfelt, and it's a stark contrast to the tension and pretense of past family gatherings. As we raise our glasses in a toast, I feel a profound sense of peace. To new beginnings, to true family, and to living life on our own terms. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. As the laughter and chatter continue, I feel the weight of the past finally lifting off my shoulders. For the first time in a long time, I look forward to what the future holds, knowing I have the freedom and the support to face whatever comes my way. This isn't just a new chapter. It's a whole new book that's the end of Helen's story, where she boldly reclaims her financial and emotional independence. Now, it's your turn to weigh in. Was Helen right to completely sever financial ties with her family to assert her independence? Or do you think there was a different approach she could have taken that might have preserved some family relationships? Could there be a balance between financial support and personal boundaries? Or was Helen's drastic measure the only viable solution given her circumstances? I'm really interested to hear your views on this. Drop your opinions in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. Also, if you liked the story and want to stay updated with more content like this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. Your engagement helps us grow and continue providing great content. Thanks for watching.